great choice for reinvigorating the franchise. He's a very kind of particular point of view. He's very offbeat. He's very kind of smart and clever. So, you know, it's hard to keep these movies fresh. Got that? Yep. And I think people are going to be really pleased with what Shane did with the movie.
It was fantastic. I really enjoyed being in the suit, and my son was on set, so he was like, he thought it was the best thing that's ever happened to him in his life. So
that his mom was wearing the Iron Man suit.
Yeah. Cool. In fact, we took the kids to see a Justin Bieber concert the other day, and he said, he sort of put it together for the first time. He said, "Mom, if we run into Justin Bieber by accident, he might know that you're an Iron Man." And I was like, he might.
It's very valuable.
So the suit did a lot for my relationship with my son.
Jon Favreau said when the first Iron Man was successful, he said it was because Tony has a relationship, and it's a relationship that, even though it's a genre movie, you could kind of relate to it, and it had, you know, it had some depth. So over the course of the movies, obviously, they haven't broken up, but they're getting closer and closer. So as the relationship gets deeper, so sometimes do the issues and the challenges. I'm wearing the Lederhosen today in honor of my mother Elsie's 79th birthday, just yesterday. And she's of German descent. Her surname from this part of the world is Schock. Does that make sense? Yep. Schock. Neither? It's real. It's for Mom. Somebody got them across the street, I believe. That's the most important question I've ever been asked. I'm sorry, I forgot the question. Gwyneth, how can we all be a little more superhero-like? And
I don't really know where to begin. What is, I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of a superhero.
How do you define it? Exactly. This is becoming very existential. Home country of Goethe. I don't know. I don't even. I think superhero just means a larger version of our own mythology. I think I know what you mean when you say idol, like somebody who influenced you, right? I remember James Woods being really important to me. I did a movie with him. I remember working with George C. Scott when I was young. That was important. Warren Beatty produced a film I was in, and he was very helpful, I was young. I was very impressionable. They could have done whatever they wanted with me. It's the second best question ever asked.
Thank you.
Are you from a car magazine or something?
Actually, I'm working for Audi.
Oh,
yeah, but
okay.
that's not important. That's not the important part of this.
But it's for internal communication for the Audi employees.
Well, let me make this your job easy, all right? Gwyneth, what cars do you drive at home when you're not working?
I have an Audi A8 and the Q7. I'm an Audi fan. Actually, the first Iron Man, when we got to borrow the cars, was when I fell in love with Audi. So you could give me one for free. That would be really great.
Audi is a superior automobile manufacturing company, and while neither of us are given paid endorsements for this company, we are happy to say how much we like it. Also, it's kind of come of age, its new line of cars and design, basically with the first Iron Man movie in 2007, so we feel like we've helped the company.
So thus we should get a free car.
Whether we get anything or not, they know what we did. Well, I mean, I would say Pepper's his greatest strength because he's able to understand that she knows him better than he knows himself. And of course, you know, weakness for any character in a movie or any person is always their own ego. It always has you, you know, make decisions that are advisable not to make. And as usual, Tony, you know, decides to take things into his own hands a little bit. But he's more mature in this film, you know. He still doesn't know what to get his girlfriend for Christmas, but he wants to know.
Well, in the first, you know, Pepper's actually had a really interesting journey over the course of the films because she started off very much as Tony's assistant and caretaker, and she's really involved into a woman with real power and responsibility, and she's really been sort of given the space to step into herself. And this movie's great because now it goes to a physical level. So I've had a lot of fun playing Pepper. I love her, and it's been a great experience for me, especially to watch, you know, to play this whole journey. It's been amazing. I've never been in a movie that was a sequel, let alone, you know, a trilogy, so it's great.
It takes a lot of balls. I mean, you know, look, I think there's nothing stupider than when kind of talented people show up and talk about a genre movie like it's some important work. You know, we know that these are popular entertainment, but we think about them in a considerate way. So I remember talking to Pepper because when we were doing Avengers, I was like, I need Pepper in there, and then I tried to explain the plot of Avengers to Gwyneth, and she was like, just stop. I'll never understand this. Because it went so far away, as it was supposed to, from Jon Favreau's original vision of the Iron Man movies are based in a reality that seems tangible. You know, you could build this suit. These kinds of things could happen. And we didn't want to jump the shark with Avengers. But I also thought, I just remember in some development meeting, I said, you know, if the sky opened up and there was a wormhole and I saw aliens, like, you know, wouldn't I just be a little bit nervous after that? And that kind of led to some of the challenges.
A lot.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I think we can both speak to that. We were talking just generally last night about, you know, you feel inclined to want to do these small movies, and then you realize nowadays that just nobody.
Yeah, it's different. You know, when I was in my 20s, before I had children and I was doing lots of movies, the movies that were being made would never get made today. Talented Mr. Ripley, Shakespeare in Love, Sliding Doors, you know, even Shallow Hal, which was like a mid kind of budget comedy, they just don't do that anymore. Great Expectations, you know, movies that are sort of geared towards adults that aren't exploding, and, you know, people just don't flock to go see those movies anymore for whatever reason, or more importantly, I think the studios don't think they will. So that whole market has evaporated. So now you do a movie that has a $5 million budget or like a $5 trillion budget. There seems to be no middle ground anymore. So I think that's why it's nice, especially if you're someone like me and wants to be home and only do one movie a year and raise your kids. It's really nice to, you know, be a part of a franchise like this where you can, you know, go, pop in, you know, work, have fun. And even though what Robert was saying, like, we do know this is pop, you know, but at the same time, when you're working with high caliber people like Robert and Don Cheadle, it's like the rush of working with actors like that is the same as if we're on, you know, an off-Broadway play. So it doesn't matter really that it's a big pop culture movie, you know, because you're not doing it with like some 26-year-old shirtless guy who doesn't really have a lot to say, you know, it's like you're doing it with Robert Downey Jr. So it is artistically fulfilling. I mean, I think that's the way we've sort of, by the way, him without a shirt is awesome, don't get me wrong.
22 years ago.
No, right now, and he is the
fine.
best butt in the world.
Thank you.
Recommend you touching it on the way out.
Great idea.
But so I think that's how we've managed to, you know, maintain the artistry really, even in something this giant and crazy, because they're really good actors in it. Rebecca Hall is really great. I mean, Ben Kingsley. Like, we have an amazing group of people to play with.
Yeah, and it's funny too. The industry we're talking about a post-change industry that's in the midst of changing again. You know what I mean? I think we're all only ever catching up with how things are established now based on what happened 5 or 7 or 10 years ago. So, but there's an influx of new stuff. I mean, there's great films coming out of Europe. There's great films coming out of the East, and I think that there was some indication that a different caliber of movie making was coming back into vogue just last year in North America. So, it's life. Sell it. Really? I don't know. It's so. Sell it. I don't know. I was actually thinking a couple weeks ago, like, and maybe part of this is because I'm 48. I'm getting closer to 50. I'm thinking. I feel like I need to. All this stuff I've been coveting, these little pieces of a suit, or all these one-off T-shirts, or all these little toys and stuff I have. I feel like I need to start giving them away because I don't. I still think of the Iron Man franchise being dead in the center of it. To me, it's still this kind of odd meditation and fantasy. I know it's really happening, trust me, but I still tend to think of it in a really childish way. So I'd probably do all the stuff that anybody would do if they had one of those suits for a day.
I love him so much as a person and as an actor, and
Okay.
he doesn't feel the same way about me.
It's crazy. I mean, we're also we're pretty entwined, and we hang out. Some people they're only close when they're in front of cameras or when they're talking about how close they are, even though they never hang out together. We make a point of
we're
spending
together
time.
a lot. I'm very close with his wife.
Yep.
I worship his child. My children worship him.
Thank you.
It was very fun, actually, to because my children have loved him since before they had any idea who he was. So it was really fun when my son realized what was happening, and so I think he loves you even more now, if that's possible.
Thank you.
I think Pepper has to maintain a little bit of grit when it comes to Tony. I think. I have a very close friend who is married to Rob Lowe, and it's a little bit of the similar thing. It's like she'll refer to his past, or and it's a very specific kind of well, I'm sure you knew Rob in the 80s. It's kind of that thing. I think when you when Pepper's with a guy like Tony who's done everything and everyone, and she has to keep some humor about it. But again, with my friends Rob and Cheryl, what they have is such a strong, amazing connection. They're really soulmates, and I think that's what Pepper and Tony are. That despite everything, they really belong together. But I think it's her defense and her sense of humor.
I think if you bring one thing away from this hugely important press conference today, it's that Tony Stark is Rob Lowe in the 80s. Except now, with a bunch of machines.